Well, here we are in chapter 41 of the book of Jeremiah, continuing on from chapter 40. So remember, we're in this intermediary period. The first temple period has been ended. We're in the intermediary period after the Babylonian destruction of Jerusalem. Gedaliah is the governor. He's been told there's an assassination attempt. He doesn't believe it. So verse 1. Now it came to pass in the 7th month that Ishmael the son of Nethaniah, the son of Elishama, of the seed royal, and the princes of the king, even 10 men with him, came unto Gedaliah the son of Ahikam to Mizpah, and there they did eat bread together in Mizpah. So Gedaliah sees Ishmael as a friend, and Ishmael's trying to play the friend card to get in with him, basically. Now the 7th month, this is important to think about, because remember, they're starting, a lot of this is based on the Babylonian calendar, so April and March is the beginning of the year. So the 7th month would be actually October to us, basically. So we're not given the year this took place, though. We don't know how was this immediately after the Babylonian destruction? Was this a year or two later? We don't know. It could have been shortly after the fall, but many scholars might think it had been several years later. There was a third deportation of Jews to Babylon in 582 BC. So maybe after that, this group decided Gedaliah had to go. So this is the third exile. We've talked about this. The first exile, remember, was 597 BC, when Babylon came down the first time to get Assyria out and take over the area. Israel revolted a little bit, and they took the ruling class with them. Jehoiakim's son, was taken captive, moved to Babylon. That was the group that survived the best of the exile. Then 587 is the full total destruction of Jerusalem. That was the worst one, and a lot of people got moved to Babylon. Now there's still some infighting and challenges that are happening. People are rising up to try to go against Babylon, and so Babylon comes back down and hits them again, and then carts a whole bunch more Jews off to exile. This is the third exile. And so it could be that a lot of people believed Gedaliah was not a good ruler for Judah. He had Babylon's interests in mind, not Judah's interests in mind. And so they probably saw him as not a good ruler, basically. So that could be the justification behind some of the things that are happening here. Verse 2, Then arose Ishmael the son of Nethaniah and the 10 men that were with him, and smote Gedaliah the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, with the sword, and slew him, whom the king of Babylon had made governor over the land. So in Book of Mormon terms, this is called a secret combination, basically. Now the deed was dastardly in the extreme. By customary law, the host was bound to protect his guests, while the guests were expected to act in good faith. Treachery was never expected. Gedaliah was caught off his guard and was defenseless. The fact that Ishmael was at Gedaliah's table may suggest that the two men knew one another and that Gedaliah was making a gesture of friendship. Ishmael violated all the laws of Oriental hospitality by his shocking act of perfidy. The act was moreover a gross offense against the Chaldeans who had appointed Gedaliah. So, against all customary norms, this happened. Do criminals follow the law, or do they make their own laws? It's a good thing to always think about. Verse 3, Ishmael also slew all the Jews that were with him, even with Gedaliah at Mizpah, and the Chaldeans that were found there, and the men of war. So this wasn't just kind of a Brutus type, oh, we're going to stab you in the back and get rid of you kind of a thing. This was a very coordinated attack. Nope, we're going to kill the king. Then you guys kill these people over here, the bodyguards and others. Then you go kill these people here. Then you go kill these people here. It's a slaughter. And it's all coordinated and planned out, basically, to be a slaughter. In fact, Thompson said, the first murder led to others. Some Judeans who were with Gedaliah were also slain. Which you got to realize, these are Judeans killing Judeans. That's what's happening here. So they're looking at this probably going, from a political perspective, these are Judeans who've gone bad because they're appointed by Babylon. They're followers of Babylon. If you follow Babylon, you're not a true Judean anymore, so we have the right to kill you. That was probably some of the mentality there. And that's why we have to be careful with labeling people, because it's easy to put a label on somebody so that it makes it easier for us to hate them. If we're labeling people to make them less human, that's bad. That is bad. We should not treat people in a negative way. That's probably part of this logic that they used to justify what they were doing, basically, to kill Gedaliah and the other Judeans and the Babylonians that were there. Now, these must have been merely representatives of the Jewish population of Mizpah, since others were later rounded up. Finally, the Chaldeans who were stationed at Mizpah, or such of them as happened to be at the mill, were slain. Clearly, Ishmael would have needed to dispose of the whole Chaldean garrison there, but it may have been small and could have been eliminated in a surprise attack. The whole shameful incident was bound to encourage stern reprisals by the Babylonians. We're going to see that. In fact, verse 4, and it came to pass the second day after he had slain Gedaliah, no man knew it. They did such a good job of swiftly executing their plan that nobody in the city knew it. Nobody realized what had happened. Verse 5, that there came a certain from Shechem, from Shiloh, and from Samaria, even 80 men. So these were a group of people who were on their way to Jerusalem to worship. They, having their beards shaven and their clothes rent, having cut themselves with offerings and incense in their hand, to bring them to the house of the Lord. Now, they're coming from northern locations. Samaria, Shiloh, Shechem. These used to be the old kingdom of Israel in the north. Some did keep the faith and proper worship, basically, because they came beard shaven, so loss of power, loss of dignity, clothes rent, cutting themselves, offering incense. They saw this whole destruction and went, we need to give offerings to God to get forgiveness. And so that's what they're doing, basically. They are mourning. They are in repentance. So there were some people, apparently, that did follow God. Not all of Jerusalem went totally bad. Verse 6, and Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, went forth from Mizpah to meet them, weeping all along as he went. That's an important point. And it came to pass, as he met them, he said unto them, come to Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam. So Ishmael is bringing them to see the dead king, and he's weeping. Ishmael is setting up his alibi. He's planting the seed of doubt so he has an escape out of this mess, basically. He wants to be seen as the victim, not the attacker in this whole situation, basically. So this is we see this happen all the time. Anybody who's guilty wants to be seen as a victim. They want to be the one that claimed, I was victimized. I came in and I found Gedaliah dead. I don't know what happened, but come see this. This is amazing. So he's trying to give himself an excuse to convince the people it wasn't him. So verse 7, and it was so, when they came into the midst of the city, that Ishmael the son of Nethaniah slew them, and cast them into the midst of the pit, and the men that were with him. So it didn't work. It ended up being a trap for these people. They were coming to worship, completely innocent of the whole situation. Again, these are people who have Jewish descent. They're part of the tribe of Judah, at least tribe of Israel at minimum. Just passing through, on their way to Jerusalem to pay their homage to the destroyed temple. And they get executed as well, basically. It was a big trap. So they're throwing him in this pit to get rid of him. Now, we don't know why Ishmael killed these pilgrims. Maybe just to lie to them while the governor was not around. He seemed to be a very murderous person. Maybe they figured it out. They're like, oh, the king's dead? Oh my gosh, let's go and see. Wow, what's going on? Well, how did you find him? Wait, what did you say you did? And maybe his alibi didn't work. They started to see the holes in his alibi, and so he just had them all killed. Maybe that's possible. Maybe it was just a trap to get him in the city. He lured him in the city with a lie to come see Gedaliah, and then they just killed them all anyways. I don't know. We're not sure. It could have gone either way. Verse 8, but 10 men were found among them that said unto Ishmael, slay us not, for we have treasures in the field of wheat and of barley and of oil and of honey. So he forbare and slew them not among their brethren. So 10 of these men basically bribed Ishmael to not kill him. Don't kill us. We'll go get our stuff and pay you homage. We'll bring you our resources, basically. So he could have thought about killing him anyway after getting the supplies that they would give him, but he said, "I won't kill you." The guy's not keeping his word anyways so far. But verse 9, now the pit wherein Ishmael had cast all the dead bodies of the men who he had slain because of Gedaliah, which was it which Asa the king had made for fear of Baasha the king of Israel. And Ishmael the son of Nethaniah filled it with them that were slain. So this is a cistern into which the bodies were cast. This cistern was made by Asa, who according to 1 Kings 15:22 undertook the building of a fortress at Mizpah 300 years previously, with material he had robbed from the fortress of Baasha of Israel at Ramah. Excavations at Tel and Nashbah may have brought the cistern in question to light. So they may have actually found in actual archaeological digs this very cistern that Gedaliah and the other people's bodies were thrown into. Verse 10, then Ishmael carried away captive all the residue of the people that were in Mizpah. So he's gathering all the people up in Mizpah. They're now his prisoners. Even the king's daughters and all the people that remained in Mizpah, whom Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had committed to Gedaliah the son of Ahikam. And Ishmael the son of Nethaniah carried them away captive and departed to go over to the Ammonites. So he's taken the people with him as like a hostage situation. They're his prisoners. They're all going to the Ammonites. Verse 11, but when Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces that were with him heard of all the evil that Ishmael the son of Nethaniah had done, so Ishmael's fleeing the area basically, then they took all the men and went to fight with Ishmael the son of Nethaniah, and found him by the great waters that are in Gibeon. So Johanan, who tried to warn the king Gedaliah, or Governor Gedaliah, he and his men weren't around Mizpah when this happened. He heard about it, and he's now pursuing them. Now, hauling off a whole city worth of people has got to slow you down a lot. So it probably didn't take long for Johanan and his men to catch up to this big group of people. Now, the great waters that are in Gibeon gives us a bit of a landmark to work off to find out where was this. This important landmark was the scene of a bloody incident in the days of Saul and David when 12 of Abner's men fought 12 of Joab's men. That was 2 Samuel chapter 2. So there's history behind this location. Recent excavations at El Jib, some 6 miles northwest of Jerusalem, have revealed a large pit hewn out of the rock, some 82 feet deep, which had steps carved around its sides from top to bottom to enable people to reach the water stored there. So this is about 3 miles from Mizpah, so Ishmael didn't get far with his army and the captives. They didn't make it far before Johanan and his group caught up to him. Verse 13, now it came to pass that when all the people which were with Ishmael saw Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces that were with him, they were glad. So all the people that Ishmael had carried away captive from Mizpah cast about and returned and went unto Johanan the son of Kareah. So they turned back and fled, getting away from Ishmael and his group, basically. Verse 15, but Ishmael the son of Nethaniah escaped from Johanan with 8 men and went to the Ammonites. So he basically dumped the captives and got out of there. Just got out of there with his life and eight guys with him, basically. So verse 16, then took Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces that were with him, all the remnant of the people whom he had recovered from Ishmael the son of Nethaniah from Mizpah, after that he had slain Gedaliah the son of Ahikam, even mighty men of war, and the women and the children, and the eunuchs, and whom he had brought again from Gibeon. So this is just naming, this is all the people. We're going back. So verse 17, they departed and dwelt in the habitation of Chimham, which is by Bethlehem, to go to enter into Egypt. So now this group's going, it's not safe in Judah. We're going to Egypt. We're going the far other direction, basically. Now, the name Chimham in verse 17 is only known as a personal name in 2 Samuel 19. Chimham was a son of Barzillai who gave help to David during the rebellion of Absalom, escorting David across the Jordan when Absalom returned to Jerusalem in triumph. David offered to reward him by making him a member of the royal household, but because of age, he was unable to accept the offer. His son Kimham received the honor and was given a grant of land near Bethlehem, a kind of fief, basically. We don't know exactly the exact spot, but it's outside Bethlehem somewhere where they were given this land, and that's this land that they're like, okay, we're going to settle here for now, but we're going to move to Egypt. We're not going to stay. So, verse 18, because of the Chaldeans, for they were afraid of them, because Ishmael the son of Nethaniah had slain Gedaliah the son of Ahikam, whom the king of Babylon made governor in the land. So again, they're going, man, if Babylon sees what's happening here, they're just going to try to wipe us all out. So let's just not go back. We're going to go somewhere different, which is Egypt. So they're going to flee to Egypt to get out of the way and not have to deal with Babylon anymore, basically. So let's jump over to the next chapter, because Jeremiah is a part of this group that's here. He wanted to stay with Gedaliah and help him out. He wasn't there at that dinner, so he survived, but he's part of this prisoner group. And so now we're going to see Jeremiah's start to pull out in this role in this group in the next chapter. So we'll see you then.